Everybody who came up here, starting from Inziraishe, said I'm a fighter. I'm not a fighter. When I believe in certain principles, I move with those. Yes, I am a fighter because I was at the age of 14 and a half years. I left this country together with many other young people. I think we call ourselves the Samora Machel generation, because Mozambique had just become independent in 1975. And a lot of our young generation in this country started asking ourselves, what is that we're doing for our independence? And we felt challenged. Also what happened in Soweto, the uprising, this is the generation which gave everything which we had to go and fight for independence. So I didn't join the struggle because I understood politics. I was hardly 15 years. But there's something I understood very well, was opportunities for everyone in this country, male and female, black or whatever. And so I am truly a women empowerment activist, and I make no apology about it. The war experience taught me that you don't just need to be a woman or a man. You need to be good at what you're doing. So the issues which came out of this meeting, merit, and I know all of you, you know that. It was a deliberate policy of government, independent Zimbabwe, to make sure that a girl child is promoted to go to school. Because we all know that in Rhodesia, many of you may not know, but women were double oppressed in their own homes and oppressed by the colonialism. A lot of parents could only afford to send a few children to higher education, and most families would choose to send a boy child, because that time women were supposed to be just in the kitchen, find a husband, be able to write a letter and respond to your boyfriend and get married. But I'm happy because I had a progressive parent, a father who believed in all children. And I think the issues which we are talking about here, this is about my life. And this covers my mandate. So I do it with a passion, and a lot of people say, yes, I'm very passionate about gender equality, and a lot has been said when you speak about gender issues. It's not just a human rights issue, it's an economic development issue. We cannot afford to leave behind more than 52% of the population. Yes, I'm the minister in charge of SMEs. And let me just give you a definition of SMEs in our country today, because it's very good for you, ZIMRA. I know you spoke well. But definition, before I even go to salutations, I want to define the SMEs who are under my mandate. I start off with a micro. Micro is a company which is run by either one person to 5. A small is 5 people to 30 people. And a medium enterprise is 31 employees to 75 employees in the turnover of $2 million. So one can actually see the criticality of SMEs in this country. Yes, as a passionate person, I started off by talking about my mandate and the importance of this today. But let me go back and salute all the important people who are in this room, which made me come even despite the fact that I traveled for more than 24 hours from Osaka, where again SMEs played a very critical role in terms of putting Zimbabwe on the map. The director of ceremonies in Inziraishe for sure. Thank you for the wonderful work. Young girls, when they do their work, when they do it so well, I feel so proud. My own permanent secretary from the Ministry of Women Affairs, and we are talking here about 4 ministries in one. And as I transitioned from the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, my principal told me that I'm now giving you the people, and I didn't understand what it meant. And he said, you've done very well there, in terms of bringing people of Zimbabwe together, removing the polarization which existed for a very long time, especially in the media and among our people. It is important to now go and talk and deal with the people. Women affairs, we are looking at many issues when you think about it. It's a ministry, it's a standalone ministry in many countries. Women empowerment issues, gender equality issues are very important. We're looking at social evils, what is affecting women, what has made women remain behind when others were moving. Because sometimes all this, we need to understand them. The evils of gender-based violence. Then we talk of the community. Are we having cohesive communities? What kind of programs can we come up with to make sure that our communities grow? Because if we are going to achieve Vision 2030, we need to make sure that we leave no one or no place behind. That's a ministry, another standalone ministry on its own. Then the small and medium enterprises. I can't talk much about them. But all of you, I want you to know, and I'm glad ZIMRA has really been spearheading that education, where SMEs need to be taken on board. It's not just about tax collection. It's about educating them. It's about making sure that we've come up with policies which will make them grow. My job is to make sure that SMEs are supported. And how do we support them? Having ZIMRA talking to our SMEs, making everybody understand. Today when I was listening to the commission, I said, oh my goodness, this is good. I wish this was a bigger room with all the big SMEs. We've got chambers of SMEs. They will go back to their membership and say, ZIMRA is there to support you. ZIMRA is not there to scare people. And when you say you don't look at people, you look at money, I agree with Cleopatra. I think it's important to put people at the center of what you do and to always have that gender lenses. It's very, very critical. So let me say I'm very happy to be here. My dear friend, Dr. Ayo Adusola, you are wonderful. You've done a great job. You've worked with us. You're a great partner in the work we do, the mandate which we have, whether it is empowering the women, whether it is really educating our people, because whether it's also coming up with projects which will transform the lives of our people. We know what you've done in Chipinge, you know. So we know that energy is an economic enabler, and it has also brought down gender-based violence, which we are dealing with. Because as a nation, we really need to deal with all these social evils, the malpractices which have been going on for a very long time. We can't afford to leave 52% of the population and expect to reach Vision 2030. And we have been working with you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for providing us a platform to be able to talk about the success stories of our country. Because there's a lot of commitments which Zimbabwe has done as a country in terms of gender equality and women empowerment. And it is development partners like UNDP who have helped us. At the UN, for example, I just came back from Seville in Spain, where again we showcased what Zimbabwe is doing, what our Ministry of Finance has done in terms of institutionalizing gender responsive budgeting and making sure that issues of gender are considered as the budget is formulated and is implemented, and also as we monitor and evaluate as we go. So these are very good partners. We are very proud of you, UNDP, and we want to continue working with you. And I want to salute all the staff, more so our young girl who was who unpacked economics and also the equality seal, gender seal. So, Constance, my dear sister, Samanyika, Shumba Yaonda, I'm gonna Shumba Yaonda. I am impressed by your presentation. And I think this institution is in good hands. We are really proud of our Zimbabweans. And this is one thing I am saying. We can't continue to talk about where are the women who have got the merit, where are the women who are educated, because they are there. The government of independence took a deliberate policy to make sure that the girl child goes to school. We have women in STEM, doing science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We do have women there. We do. So let's not try to run away from gender equality, from gender mainstreaming by saying there are no women with the merit they are there. You need to provide the environment where everyone should be given an equal opportunity. I do have our Chief Director of Gender and Women Affairs, who is working very closely with our development partners and everybody, our CSOs, our private sector, because this thing is not about the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Small and Medium Enterprises Development alone. It is about us. As I was listening to all the presenters here, I said, wow, part of my job is done. I'm not alone. I'm not carrying this mandate alone. It is a whole government approach. It's a multi-stakeholders approach. And with that, we will get the impact we want. It's only when we move as a group that we've got a greater impact. And that's what I got from this presentation. The acting commissioner, you spoke very well. And I want to say, most of the time, people think ministers come into a function like this, just to read their paper and leave. They don't listen to what I was listening. I took my time to listen very, very carefully. Of course, it started with Dr. Ayo, who spoke about the importance of moving from policy to implementation, and that they are there to make sure that they work with institutions so that there's gender mainstreaming and that the gender equality still becomes implemented. I am very proud of the work we have done in all these other countries, and I'm very proud of our own country and our own institution, ZIMRA, Makorokoto. Well done. You are part of those very few institutions which have put this on. Well done. And that makes me proud whenever I am, whether it is at a regional level. We just finished hosting the SADC gender ministers of the SADC region, gender ministers and women affairs ministers. They were impressed, and we took really resolutions which will move the region. And again, like I say, when we move as a region, we've got a greater impact. We are also showcasing what we're doing as a country at regional level, at continental level. You've heard, I was surprised when I was really elected to be one of the most influential, 100 influential women in Africa. And for that, let me tell you, Zimbabwe has been put at its rightful place by all of us. And just next month, for your information, our ministry will be hosting African Leaders Network. All important leaders of Africa who are female will be coming to this country. There's something good which they're seeing happening in our country. And it's because we're working together as a whole government. So I'm very excited. Yes, ZIMRA, Makorokoto, you clearly stated that you are going to move beyond just compliance. And I think this is very fundamental. It is important. And we can't overemphasize issues of gender taxation, sensitive taxation. We really want to make sure that we move with everybody. The SMEs I'm talking about in this country, they are bringing more than 70% to the GDP of this country. And those who listened carefully, the Minister of Finance gave us the new GDP of our country, which is almost $48 billion US dollars. And 70% of that is coming from our SMEs. That's when we speak about SMEs, let's not think about just a little, this lady who is sitting selling her tomatoes. I respect them. They are putting food on the table. They are sending children to school. But SMEs in this country are playing a very important, critical role for the economy to be where it is. We want to continue formalizing. So if we don't have the right policies which promote formalization, it means you as ZIMRA cannot collect the revenue which is so much need. I mean, we all know that it is important for a country to collect revenue. We need to build all these big item projects, bridges, infrastructure, roads. So we understand, and our people are ready to comply. What they need is a service. What they need is to be recognized. What they need is a progressive tax. So if we are going to ask them to pay 8,000 for a small and medium enterprises to register, to formalize, they will obviously find it very difficult to formalize. And yet, if we provide workspace, because that's again under my mandate to provide workspace to our SMEs, then they've got a permanent address, then it's easier to follow them and collect revenue. So this is a win-win situation. Our SMEs require a lot of service from us all, government and all institutions. So we are happy that you are looking at this transformative equality sale as a tool to move, to make sure that everybody, the taxation will be very favorable to each and everyone. Yes, it's important that the room is full of very important people who make this succeed. And like you say, it's not just a launch today. It's not an event, but it's a process. So we want to salute all of you, the Commissioner, Abatraicha Zingwa, senior government officials who are here, representatives from civil society and private sector, our development partners who we value a lot, and we work with everybody. You know, the president of this country, of the Second Republic, has talked about opening up for everybody. Everybody matters. Zimbabwe is for us all. Let's not leave it to the Ministry of Women Affairs for gender to deal with certain issues, but it's about all of us. And I'm happy to say, if we are moving with our private sector, everybody realizes that Zimbabwe belongs to us all. And as I always say, if Zimbabwe was a company, we are all equal shareholders. Nobody matters more than the other. Even those who went to fight for the struggle, they didn't go to fight for their individual opportunities. They went to fight for opportunities for all. So we need to work together. So let me say, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without leaving the members of the media who will make sure that they will take this information to each and every Zimbabwean who is out there. I'm honored to join you today as I deliver a keynote address at this groundbreaking event. The event, which is the official inauguration of the Gender Equality Cell for public institutions in Zimbabwe, and which is pioneered none other than ZIMRA. We are so proud of you. We were so proud to work with you. This launch transcends a mere event on our calendar. But it marks a crucial milestone in our continuous rational endeavor to attain gender equality and inclusivity in our governance. This launch comes at an opportune time after the successful hosting of SADC ministers, as I earlier mentioned, and it was successful. There is a lot of learning which we do from each other. This is why benchmarking is a very good thing. And when we had the Ministers of Gender and Women Affairs in Harare being hosted by our government through the SADC Secretariat, we reviewed progress together. Because issues of gender issues are just not within a border. These are just borders. They cut across our borders. So we reviewed the progress, we discussed interventions, and strategic interventions, that is, and we also adopted several decisions to address various priority themes of the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development, and many other treaties which Zimbabwe has signed and ratified. And one of the key decisions which came out from this meeting was the directive that the SADC member states should fast-track the implementation and monitoring of the Gender Equality Seal for Public Institutions program, which is why we are here today. This is why this day is very important. It is extremely important for us. As Zimbabwe, we were proud to share that we have already initiated the important program ahead of many SADC countries. We actually reinforced our leadership and commitment to advance gender equality and women's empowerment in the region. And that makes us the job very easy. The mandate I have, and with everybody else, is easy because even the highest office is committed to this. We know that our President, Dr. E.G. Mnangagwa, has signed the high level of political compact to end violence against women and also malpractices. So we have all the support. There is nothing which will stop us to achieve the goals which we've set for ourselves. Indeed, We need to achieve gender equality and women's empowerment which is a long-term commitment to the government. I must say Zimbabwe is actually a trailblazer when it comes to commitments, when it comes to coming up with policies, strategies to gender equality, because we realize the importance of gender equality. As I say, it's just not a moral issue, and that has been said earlier. It's an economic development issue. As a ministry, when we talk about evils of gender-based violence, some people think, oh, it's a private thing happening in people's homes. No. Gender-based violence is a cost to the economy of this country. So we need to eliminate it. We need zero tolerance to gender-based violence. We need to be able to instill confidence in each and every Zimbabwean, our girls included, so that we move our country to the levels where we want it to be. Our constitution, we all know, which was, I happen to have been one of the 25 members of parliament who spearheaded the constitution making process, and I must say it was a great experience listening to the people of this country talking about issues of gender equality, the importance of eliminating gender-based violence. We went out on outreach, we heard it from the chiefs, we heard it from the religious leaders. The evil has to be completely eliminated. We are an organized nation. Our history tells it. We would have never survived if our people were not strong, if our people inside the country were not organized. Because we're just a fish. Without water, we would have died. So that demonstrates the organization which this country, the people have. And we can, together, working closely together, and with the help which we are getting from all the development partners, we will be able to have zero tolerance to gender-based violence, and we will be able to do enough of gender mainstreaming. And congratulations to ZIMRA, you are almost getting there. I know judiciary, when we look at statistics, they are almost there. Parliament management is there. And we know the quota, which is, I am for the quota, I am. And that made me so proud, even as a Minister of Information. When the quota was introduced, we had we moved from 11% to 38% women in Parliament. That was a source of pride up to that. And we are so grateful that our president actually extended that quota, which was supposed to end in the last elections, but it was extended for another 10 years. I think it is important when we are looking at the historical background of our women. This is why also Zimbabwe has come up with the Women Microfinance Bank, because we looked at the women. When you talk of collateral, not many women have got the means of production. This is historical. And so it's important to still have this affirmative action. But we are not saying women should be given jobs without the merit. And they are there. They are there. Educated women are there. And I'm very proud of them. So our constitution is a very good document which speaks to gender equality and equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural, and social spheres. The government has also demonstrated a strong commitment to gender equality through the ratification and domestication of the major international treaties and sub-regional gender equality instruments. So even the Vision 2030, Zimbabwe's Vision 2030, which aspires to achieve an upper middle income society by 2030, which is aligned to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, is also underpinned by the principle of leaving no one and no place behind. So accordingly, significant progress has been made in promulgating laws. We have wonderful laws, the Marriages Act, the Labor Act. We really need to think and practice in terms of what has been enshrined in our constitutions, in terms of the policies this country has actually put into place. Gender equality is actually there. It's about implementation. And we have to start thinking. When I listen to the acting commissioner of ZIMRA talking about issues of gender and where you're putting them, placing them in everything which you're doing, I said, wow, if all our institutions can do exactly what you're doing, then we are flying as a country. It's not an issue of the Ministry of the Women Affairs alone, but it's about all of us. So these policy frameworks, strategies, and action plans, which have been established to promote the achievement of gender equality, we really need to walk the talk. We need also to put money where our mouth is. We cannot continue talking about gender equality without really putting money into it. I don't want to get into that, but I'm very happy that I managed to attend that conference on financing for development. And it came out very clear that if we don't put money into gender equality, we will never get the impactful results which we are seeking to get. So these are some of the issues. I know there has been several interventions that serve as a foundation of the gender equality program, which are also in place, gender responsive budgeting, which I was very proud of, to just talk about how our Ministry of Finance has institutionalized it and making everyone, think about gender equality as we go through the whole budget cycle. So that is also something which we are proud of. Women's financial inclusion is being strengthened. I talked about the Women Microfinance Bank. Yes, it has got its teething problems. It was formed in 2017. It has not been fully capitalized since then. But the good thing is I'm talking with my Minister of Finance, and we are at the same level in terms of making sure, let's think outside the box. How can we put enough money to make sure that our women who are going through entrepreneurial skills, digital skills, and all that have got access to finance? That's critical. If there is no access to finance, we will not make the SMEs grow. So this is another area where we are very grateful with our minister. There are issues which we are talking about, use of prescribed assets, making use of the monies of our pensions. So even getting also international financial institutions to invest, because our women, our SMEs, they are very good at paying back their loans. So there's a lot going on, and the good thing is we are also working with this whole government approach, the Ministry of Agriculture. When they bring in equipment in agriculture, we are saying disaggregated data, we need it. How many have gone to the women, to the girls, to the youth? And we see this is actually bringing transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, while we applaud the progress, we recognize that genuine transformation occurs where institutions assimilate and enact these commitments in their daily operations, not as a luxury, but as a cornerstone upon which sustainable development, prosperity, and peace are built. Consequently, the institutionalization of the gender equality seal for public institutions provides various advantages that surpass simple acknowledgement. It serves as a robust accountability mechanism and a catalyst for development by ensuring that institutions align their actions with their stated principles, fostering a gender-responsive culture, leadership, processes, and service delivery, which in turn strengthens economies, and it enhances public service delivery, and it cultivates more resilient and peaceful societies. Ladies and gentlemen, ZIMRA's commitment to implement this initiative as one of the pioneer public institutions in Zimbabwe to implement the gender equality seal framework is very much commendable, and it demonstrates strong leadership at ZIMRA. We are proud of you. Definitely, this process will enable ZIMRA to enhance your operations and establish a national standard for gender-responsive public service. This also conveys a significant message, and the message is gender equality is not solely the responsibility of my ministry, but rather a priority for the entire government and the whole Zimbabwean society. I therefore call upon all other government entities, including the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the Office of the Auditor General, of course the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, and I'm talking here about the private sector. We are talking about resource mobilization. We are talking about CSOs. We're talking about everybody. Let's adopt. This is a good move. The Gender Equality Seal Program will see and give us the results which we have always been aiming for. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my gratitude to UNDP, once again, our long-standing partner, for supporting the implementation of the Gender Equality Seal in Zimbabwe. Your technical support, regional experience, and commitment to gender-responsive budget governance are highly valued. I would also want to commend the Commissioner General here ably led by the Acting Commissioner General, and the entire leadership of ZIMRA. Your enthusiasm in this journey is very impressive. I would also like to recognize the commitment by all of the ZIMRA staff who are here, who are part of this Gender Equality Committee, and that will continue to engage in the evaluation and action plan execution processes. I urge you to maintain openness, commitment, and ambition as we go through this process. It will not always be easy, but the long-term gains for your institution in Zimbabwe are undeniable. My ministry, and I want to say it because a lot of you cannot say it, it's a long ministry. It's 4 ministries in one. My Ministry of Women Affairs, Community Development, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, and also cooperatives. By the way, we've got more than 2.9 cooperators in this country. So it's another huge area, and they're doing a lot of work. You see, with the 48-point-something billion GDP of Zimbabwe, the first sector which is on top is manufacturing. And this is where we are finding a lot of SMEs. And I think I can't end without being proud of my SMEs who are in mining. When the government actually allowed the artisanal miners to do gold mining in a very decent manner without police chasing them, you know what happened? Gold production of this country went to a record production of 40 tons per year from a mere 20 tons some 4 or 5 years ago. So SMEs are truly playing a critical role, and they require the service. We need to give them service. Those SMEs in mining, they require good equipment, they need insurance, so that when they go mining, their families shouldn't think that this is the last time they're seeing them. They should be able to be supported. So if we support them, our country will grow. Look now, we've put our ZIG anchored on the gold production. So this is something which the SMEs in this country are doing. So as a ministry, with all my leadership in that ministry, my officers were doing a very important role of coordinating. That's our role, coordinating all of you on gender equality and women empowerment. It's not our role to play the whole thing alone. It's about all of us. All what we do as a ministry with my officers is to play that coordination role. And we are happy to work with you all. And I'm confident that UNDP will provide the necessary assistance to technically equip my staff also, so that they can effectively track, monitor, and measure national collective gender equality results, including this gender equality seal, which we are launching today. With your support, all of you, my ministry is ready to tirelessly work to ensure that the goal of gender equality and women's empowerment is a reality. It makes sense. It's a very big economic sense. It's just not a moral issue to say, it is an economic development issue. To ZIMRA, once again, I say congratulations for being the pioneer of this important initiative. We look forward to seeing the results of this journey and to celebrate your future gender equality seal certification. And together, let's build a public service that is inclusive, responsive, and truly representative of all our people of this country, Zimbabwe. To not end, thank you very much.